What's going on, everybody? It is 1:38 p.m. Thursday, August 17th, 2021. We're going to do things a little bit different today. This is going to be a heavily XRP-focused video, but it does cover some other things as well. So let's just get started. I'm going to start this off in the beginning of my videos from now on. You can follow me on Twitter at TruePerception3. Can't wait to see you guys there. Send me a DM as long as you have a semi-active and productive account. I will follow you back. I am trying to grow this thing. Also, here is my YouTube channel. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content coming out. There is daily content for the most part, sometimes multiple things in a day. I am really trying to get these views per video up. I need to get my subscribers to 1,000 and my view hours to 4,000. Right now I am at about 1,000 view hours, so I'm a quarter of the way there and a third of the way there subscribers. I have until about, I don't know if it's March or April, something like that, to achieve this. So let's get that going on, guys. As I've stated before, I will be doing a $1,000 crypto giveaway once I achieve my YouTube partnership. I don't know what platform I'll be doing it on because I have to check all the community guidelines and stuff, make sure I don't get flagged. If you would like to support the channel, you can send any of these supported assets to trueperception.crypto using any supported wallets. If you want a list of those wallets, you can go to Unstoppable Domains, and they have a ton of information about that. The Coinbase wallet, not the Coinbase app, but the actual Coinbase wallet works. I believe Trust Wallet, MetaMask, a few others that are on there that are pretty, I think Descent might work. There's a couple more. I can't think off the top of my head, but whatever. Here's all the referral links I use, links to my Twitter, my private Facebook group, my OpenSea account with all my NFTs, which will be migrating to the XRP ledger as soon as that is available. So yeah, enough of that. Let's get into the business. So we've been following all these assets. Cardano's been one of the leaders. I've been saying, the 618 to the 786, extremely reactive areas. And as you can see here, we punched right through all of them. And then as we got on top of it, we're now resting on top of the 702 again. I'm still bullish. All these little like bull flag type shapes right here, the way these are forming, I like them. I'm not like a master TA guy. I do understand a little bit about retracement levels and stuff. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like this expert necessarily, because that is not true. One thing to remember is this range is also where your professional risk managers and portfolio managers will tend to take profits when you're dealing with retracements. You dump all the way down here on this big dump, and when you finally work your way back up in here, a lot of people don't like to wait and see what happens, which is what I will be doing, because I'm convinced we're going to be up in this range before long across the board. I'm not making a price call on Cardano. I'm just saying in general. So yeah, Cardano is now resting on top of the 702. BC Backer has said in several of his most recent videos, if you're not subscribed to him, get on it. That is a must watch for me anytime he drops a video. He is saying that he expects potentially there to be some consolidation that goes along in that range before it pops up, not for Cardano, but for the total altcoin market cap. We'll get into that in just a second. One thing that he did point out earlier today that I'm going to share with you guys is he did talk about how May 18th was the day where everything really, right before everything just completely dumped, right? And what's interesting about all that is if you go down to May 18th and you bring your retracement levels down, Bitcoin slammed right into the 618. And then it's gotten rejected slightly. Nothing bad. You can see where it's kind of fighting right there. It's kind of stuck in that range between there and the 50% range. So just interesting stuff. You'll see that continue on in some other assets. Let's see what happens. I haven't done this, so I'm kind of doing this on the fly. So if it, let me get rid of this thing. So if this is a little sloppy and cumbersome, I do apologize. I didn't practice this beforehand. I just saw it in a video before I started recording. Yeah, you look right here. You bring this down to the top of this wick, and look, everything's just busting right in those ranges from that main capitulative moment on May 18th. Obviously, your full retracement picture is going to be from where this part topped out, but I do find it interesting. Solana continuing to rage. It got all the way up here to $75 and has now dropped another $10 down, but it's still in what would typically be a price discovery mode right here. So who knows what's going to happen there, but it is definitely leading the pack. Cardano was leading the pack. I believe he mentioned Luna is another one. XDC has been one that's been getting some pretty major gains in my eyes. Again, total altcoin market cap, if you look at the big picture, we are slamming into the bottom of the 618 right now. Just boom, rejected, still maintaining above the 50%. And again, if you go over to the May 18th, and you come down to the that candle, if you look here, it slammed right into all of these. So if you're going by this capitulative market moment, everything has already gotten in this range and started fighting it out. I'm looking at things from a little broader perspective now. XDC, very similar situation. Let's go over to May 18th and see what this does. Like I said, I have not done any of this outside of right now. This is a live look, if you will. I mean, I had my charts pulled up beforehand, but yeah, if you look down here, May 18th for this, it's went crazy. It's in major price discovery mode, so that might not apply to this particular asset. I just wanted to see. But again, blasted through everything and is maintaining on top of the 786 in what is typically a price discovery zone. So who knows with this one too. I am very bullish on this asset. I don't make price calls on this channel, but I don't think this thing's done. Again, before I get too carried away, nothing on this channel is financial advice, investment advice, tax advice, anything of that nature. To buy or sell anything based on anything that you hear or see on this channel would be ignorant. You should do your own research so you can avoid being ignorant. And I'm not saying that in like a negative way, but if you don't know about something and you're investing your money in it, that is dangerous. So make sure you do all your own research, vet all your sources, vet me, vet all the influencers on Twitter and on YouTube. Some of them are full of it. Some of them are great guys. Some of them are talking their book, and some of them are shilling shitcoins. So just make sure you do plenty of research so you can move forward with confidence in this space, because it's your money. It's your family, it's your future, it's your security, whatever you want to look at it as. Jumping back into XRP, this is another one. This is the main one he had focused on with the May 18th thing. If you come down here to where it was on May 18th, you can see it slammed, I mean precisely, into that 702 and then got rejected, hit the 50% there and bounced right back up in between. So there is a high expectation for XRP as well, that you could see a range in here before taking off. If it went down into where, if it repeated what Bitcoin did in some of the previous bull runs, they're saying it could come down into this range, the 75 to 85 cent range, before it takes off there. If it does what it's done in other times, you can see it between this $1 and $1.10 range, kind of hanging out throughout here before it goes off. Or the reality of it is it could hit this rollover and we could go into a bear market. Again, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I do feel like I should at least put that possibility out there to my viewers, because, you know, things don't go up in straight lines, as we all know. But again, this is kind of bull flaggy. This was kind of bull flaggy. This was kind of bull flaggy. And now even this looks a little bull flaggy to me, unless we start, you know, really going down. But I'm still fairly confident. So let's get into some news here. Digital asset investor posted, Bill Hinman communications are the key in the SEC versus Ripple case. He was the man to see, according to Jay Clayton, the same man who gave Ethereum the free pass. Let's watch this.
So talk through what the process is in the SEC for people who want to come to you and either get advisory opinions or get guidance or actually register offerings.
Look, we are happy to engage with people in this space, in our division of corporation finance, division of investment management, and, you know, trading and markets on all of these issues. Bill Hinman, who you mentioned before, runs our division of corporation finance. We have Val Panic. If people have questions, they or their lawyers can come to us. But I will say, if what you're doing is starting a venture and you're funding that venture by issuing tokens, you should start with the assumption that you're conducting a securities offering.
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org. So the part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get in early to compensate for the increased risk. So the issuance model is that we will fundraise, suppose that we hand out X Ether through the fundraiser, then there will be about 0.5x will be pre-mined, and then 0.4x after that will be mined per year forever.
Yeah, so there was the founder of the Ethereum network, Vitalik Buterin, sounded like if you went by what they went by, he should have assumed that he was doing a security offering. Ethereum has still not been considered a security. It has been considered a commodity by the CFTC. That's up for debate. I'm not going to get super into that. Another video he has is Valerie, however you say that, was a senior advisor to William Hinman when he was at the SEC. If I were a Ripple attorney, I would want to see the communications between her and Hinman and how on God's green earth they rationalize giving Ethereum a free pass. Who are these people kidding? Let's watch this.
And today that team is headed by Val Sepak, who is a senior advisor to me for all of the fintech work that we are doing. And she has over 5 years experience, in this particular area, and over 20 years experience at the SEC, very seasoned, very well known in the digital asset community, and I think highly regarded, and a terrific person to help us focus our efforts across all the divisions.
So the basic test is when folks contribute something of value to a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation that they will profit based on the efforts of others, and these are the significant managerial or entrepreneurial efforts of others. And many times when you see tokens issued on a blockchain, it really is promoters of an enterprise trying to raise capital to fund whatever project they have, to build the enterprise, to make it profitable, whether that's to build the network or complete a blockchain or involve other participants into the network to make that token valuable over time. These are the kinds of things that we have to look at to determine whether or not something's a security. So if it fits these characteristics, essentially we're looking at it like it is a security. I think the chairman pointed out that many of the ICOs he has seen have the characteristics of securities. I think that's the case. I've looked at many of these things myself. And I think it's a rare circumstance where you don't have an enterprise kind of getting started issuing tokens that aren't issuing securities. So
Ethereum started with a pre-sale and an ICO, which we'll be talking about 72 million Ethereum. Vitalik wanted to raise money. He was maybe 19 years old. He looped in with a venture capitalist from Canada, Joe Lubin, who now runs Consensus. Lubin took about 10% or 9.5% of the offering. They put 9.5% in a foundation called the Ethereum Foundation, and the other 80% was sold to the public for $18 million.
Now, guys, if you listen to it, you have two of the main people in the SEC basically describing what a security would be, and Ethereum totally fits the bill for everything they've said. Now you have the current chair of the SEC saying the exact same thing. Now, what's interesting about that is they all went on to work in these fields later on. You know, Gary Gensler, right in this clip, he was a blockchain professor at MIT. He is not a stupid man. And then you look at the other ones, William Hinman and Jay Clayton, they have both went on, they were receiving money from the Ethereum Foundation while they're working at the SEC. They were also receiving money from Sullivan Cromwell, where they used to work. There's a lot of stuff that's really been going on around there. And now they are working for major investment companies like One River Digital, who invest exclusively in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Interesting, right? Well, guess what? Government Watchdog Group files lengthy FOIA request demanding access to internal SEC government documents and records targeting Jay Clayton, William Hinman, and Mark Berger over potential conflicts of interest on crypto while in office. We write today seeking information regarding the appearance and conflicts of interest by former high-level officials at the SEC relating to cryptocurrencies. It is in the public's interest that the government's emerging regulatory approach to cryptocurrencies is based on objective legal principles without the appearance that conflicted SEC officials may be picking crypto winners and losers based on personal financial interest. The way in which these former SEC officials declared whether particular cryptocurrencies were securities and thus subject to SEC regulation raises public integrity concerns. Transparency from the SEC is the only way to ensure accountability to the public. In light of this, we are filing this FOIA request to seek the facts. Empower.us letter demands a wide range of records and communications from the SEC between Hinman, Clayton, Berger, and outside entities like Simpson, Thacher, and One River. I think Sullivan Cromwell's part of it too, but Simpson Thacher I think was previous. Anyway, the FOIA letter also seeks records of any discussions between the target officials and SEC Office of Ethics Counsel about their potential employment or, in Hinman's case, continued payments from Simpson Thacher during his SEC employment. They also cite Hinman's speech on Ethereum, Clayton's comments on Bitcoin, and the lawsuit against Ripple causing the crash of XRP and their lucrative employment immediately following the SEC. Read the FOIA letter here. And just so you know, let me see if this will tell us right here. It's the Freedom of Information Act, guys. It provides public access to all federal agency records except for those records or portions of those records that are protected from disclosure by any of the 9 exemptions or 3 exclusions, reasons for which an agency may withhold records from a requester. We will see what happens there. It's a big deal, guys. Here is the official letter for the Freedom of Information Act services. And, you know, they go over right here. It pretty much is the same thing. It says, while receiving millions of dollars from his former employer, the law firm Simpson Thacher is a part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, an industry organization whose objective is to drive the use of the Enterprise Ethereum. Hinman, while in his capacity at the SEC, declared that Ethereum cryptocurrency Ether was not a security, causing its value to rise significantly. It went on a major bull run, guys, because of his speech. Later, the SEC sued one of its competitors, Ripple, declaring its cryptocurrency XRP was a security. Shortly thereafter, XRP's value plummeted 25%. Hinman left the SEC in December. He returned to Simpson Thacher as a partner. The leader of the SEC division that brought the XRP lawsuit, Mark Berger, we're going to get to you, buddy, similarly left the SEC for Simpson Thacher. Additionally, there are potential concerns regarding former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton's handling of cryptocurrencies issues at the SEC. As with Mr. Hinman and Ether, while at the SEC, Clayton declared that Bitcoin was not a security and its value rose significantly. The SEC's lawsuit against Ripple was filed at the end of Mr. Clayton's tenure on the commission. The day he left, guys. Not just at the end. Literally the day he left. Once he left the SEC, Mr. Clayton joined One River Asset Management, a cryptocurrency hedge fund exclusively focused on Bitcoin and Ether. If you have first-hand information you'd like to disclose to assist the Empower oversight with these inquiries, please contact them there. Here is a copy of the former letter that they have sent out. We're not going to go over it, but, you know, they go over a lot of stuff. I will include all of this in the description. Here's another thing by DAI. He talks about the revolving door, and the revolving door is a big thing over in the SEC, guys. They all come from Goldman and JP Morgan for the first part, and I'm going to pause this a couple times as we go through it because I want you guys to be able to read it. I'm not going to read it all to you, but this says right here, SEC enforcer behind the $1.3 billion Ripple lawsuit is stepping down. Interesting. So even though his time at the top position was short, it bears one major highlight, which was the lawsuit against Ripple Labs. I mean, it's just crazy. You know, he was leaving there before the end of the month, so he was barely there. But I mean, just watch this video.
There is, you know, this concept of a revolving door, and there's a lot of criticism. You know, are people going into the government, out of the government, representing entities, and then they're back in the government, and now, you know, can they charge those entities that they just represented? You know, in my experience, your loyalty is, you know, in the place you're at, and you can be a very hard prosecutor, a hard-charging prosecutor, and when you're on the defense side, you do everything in your client's best interest, and I don't see people bending the rules or playing favoritism.
Yeah, about that, let's just stare at William Hinman for a second. You guys can read that if you want. Just pause the video. Look at this. Enterprise Ethereum Alliance connects Fortune 500 enterprise startups, academics, and technology vendors with Ethereum subject matter experts. In the last month, we have welcomed over 24 new members. Look, Simpson Thatcher. Imagine that.
So, based on your personal client disclosures, then, for half of your tenure as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to enforce the law against several big banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, and UBS. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Your recusals would not be limited just to your own former clients. The ethics executive order also requires you to recuse yourself for 2 years from any matter in which your former law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, represents a party. Now, Sullivan and Cromwell is a leading New York law firm with a very long list of Wall Street clients. So for half of your term as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to punish any corporation or bank that uses Sullivan and Cromwell as their lawyer. Is that right?
I believe that's a fair summary, Senator. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's fair in any way, right, guys? So you look here, Clayton representing Goldman Sachs and other underwriters on the $25 billion IPO of Alibaba, a giant Chinese company. Clayton and another partner at Sullivan Cromwell acted as legal advisor to Ali in the 2014 public offering that raised $2.4 billion, advised underwriters Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, and Barclays. He also served as legal counsel as to the underwriters Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Moelis of the $190 million IPO of the investment bank, Moelis & Co. Clayton helped represent a team of underwriters led by Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs for Oaktree Capital Group's $380 million IPO in 2012. He represented the underwriters of a $650 million RTO Global Investors IPO in 2008. Goldman Sachs served as the lead underwriter in the deal. RTO Global Investor was later acquired by Aberdeen Asset Management. Clayton also represented Goldman Sachs and the Lehman Brothers in the public offering 07 of hedge fund firm Oxzif Capital Management, founded by a former Global Sachs trader. I'm not going to get into the Lehman Brothers because I don't know the facts by heart, but go ahead and Google that, guys. That is a big scandal if I've ever seen one. There's a whole lot of, it's smoke and mirrors, and it's bad over there. Just, you guys should go ahead and look that up at some point. I don't know if it finishes with anything else or if it stays here. I didn't watch the whole thing, so let's see. That might be it. They might just be giving us time to read. Yeah, it looks that way. So, with that being the case, since we're talking about it here, let's just go ahead and do this. Lehman Brothers. And let's see. How did the Lehman Brothers collapse? They faced an unprecedented loss due to the continuing subprime mortgage crisis. Their loss resulted from having held on to large positions in subprime and other lower-rated mortgage tranches when securitizing the underlying mortgages. Let's see here. Yeah, they were the fourth largest investment bank in the U.S. with about 25,000. There we go. Let's find a scandal summary. I didn't even plan on doing this, but let's just go with this. All right, no, wait, you know what? Let's see. Maybe this will give us a shorter answer. Lehman stock fell sharply as the credit crisis erupted during the month. The company eliminated 1,200 mortgage-related jobs and shut down its BNC until unit 5. It also closes offices. You'll have to go into it. It says many experts seem to agree that this is in large part due to a lack of trust, over-ledgering, poor long-term investment, and shaky funding. If you guys go and read into this, I mean, look at these questions. Did anybody from the Lehman Brothers go to jail? Although the crisis grew out of the big banks' handling of mortgage-backed securities, no Wall Street executives went to jail for it. Of course not. Just look into it. Like I said, I don't know the facts, but I do know it's some sketchy business. I'm going to get that off of here. Glenn Thompson. Today I sent a letter to the SEC and CFTC with my colleague Patrick McHenry urging the agencies to establish a joint working group on digital assets. This is an important step to ensure much needed clarity in the industry for market participants. You see somebody here, Riz, is throwing the am I still following you, buddy? No, I'm not, but I need to be. because you do post good stuff. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, you see him throwing the XRP down right there. Here is a copy of what they have sent in to Gary Gensler. It's some interesting stuff. It will be included. Leading advocates in Congress have also reintroduced the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. On August 17th, Tom Emmer, coming through again, announced that he was reintroducing this bill. He introduced the original bill at the beginning of 2019 with slight edits. The new version aims to provide the same sort of safe harbor to blockchain firms that do not hold customer assets, which developing guidance threatens with registration as money services businesses. In a statement on the announcement, he said, certain blockchain developers and certain providers like miners and multi-signature service providers should not have to register as money transmitters because they never custody consumer funds. It's very interesting. These guys they're really leading the front right now, trying to get this thing, figured out. And we're gonna end this video with an audio clip from David Schwartz, Joel Katz himself. He is the CTO of Ripple as the Chief Technology Officer. He's got a long history in cryptography. He's worked for doing cloud technology with CNN, had some contracts with the NSA over the years. All kinds of stuff. He's a very, very smart man. And just listen to what he says. This is a clip from 2019 that I found. I'm not showing the video because I don't want to get copyrighted or anything. But I found just a plain audio clip of a portion that I liked. And just listen to what he says here.
It's very hard to decide how the laws apply. And that's why I think you'll see many organizations, Ripple and many others, Coin Center is another, lobbying regulators not so much to change the law, but to clarify it, like to tell us what it is that we need to do so that someone doesn't come down 2 years later and say, hey, what you were doing completely in the open and completely transparently for the last 4 years was illegal from day one and you should have known that. And we're like, we meet with you like every week about what we're doing, and now you're telling us we should have realized 4 years ago that it was fundamentally and completely illegal? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so I have tremendous respect for the people who do that type of regulatory engagement. And I will say that there are a lot of forward-thinking regulators who understand that, like, imagine if in the early days of the internet, the United States had said, hey, this internet thing is being used to radicalize terrorists and violate copyright. Like, we don't want any internet in the United States. There still would have been an Apple and a Google and a Microsoft and all those companies. They just probably wouldn't have been American companies. We would have faced a take it or leave it choice with an internet that might or might not look like the internet we have today, and we would have had that would have been obviously a terrible choice. And there are some regulators who understand that they have that same position with blockchain now. The United States, if the United States set out regulatory clarity, I think a lot of countries would probably follow what the United States does, and right now they're sort of being forced to walk out ahead of the bunch. Thailand's a good example of a country that kind of, and there are many others that kind of like started to set down regulatory rules. Luxembourg is another. And they're like, we don't want to be in conflict with the rest of the world. We don't want to have laws that are fundamentally different. So people do what they need to do to comply with our laws, and then they discover they can't comply with other countries. But there just isn't that kind of thing really happening yet. And I think we need that to happen. We need to get rid of that uncertainty. I'd rather have a bad law than a law where I can't tell whether I'm breaking it or not.
Seems fair.
It does seem fair, doesn't it? And you heard what he said. He was trying to avoid a situation where you were meeting with regulators on a weekly basis, full transparency on here's what we're doing, yada, 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 just for them to come back years later and say what you've been doing is wrong. How are they supposed to know that the entire time when they've been so transparent with these organizations and nobody has ever said anything, and then all of a sudden, as some people were getting ready to leave the SEC, the three stooges, that's what we're going to call them from now on, at least on this channel. These three guys were set to leave the SEC, and they made some very big power moves on their way outside, or on their way out the door, excuse me. And that is why this Freedom of Information Act is a big deal. It's also a big deal because Ripple has been requesting tons of documents, none of which have been turned over. Ripple has turned over 1 million pages of discovery, is something I read the other day. I don't know how accurate that is, but they have turned over a lot of stuff in comparison to the SEC. So I think this audio clip and everything else leading up to it will make some sense to you guys. This Ripple thing is a big deal. It affects the entire cryptocurrency industry, the whole space, whether people want to admit that or not. You'll talk to all these other maxis, oh, we hope Ripple fails, screw Ripple, they're the banker's coin, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. If Ripple loses this case, they are coming for all of you. Believe that. There will be very, very few left standing, and it will happen swiftly. They will slam that hammer down on this space, and the legacy banking system and the legacy politicians and the lifers out there, they will just sit exactly where they have always sat. The wealth gap will continue to grow. There will be nothing that you and I can do about it, and that will be the end of the story. That is speculation, wild speculation on my part, and that is also going to be the end of this video. I will catch you guys on the next one.